Today I thought we would have a quick catch up on pinching because we're getting lots of questions on pinching your Snapdragons and also pinching your sweet peas. Now at this time of the year I do not pinch anything. The reason being is the light levels are getting incredibly low. So just roughly, because it does depend where you are in the country, just roughly we're down to about 9 hours of daylight here. It's going to get worse. It's going to go down to around 7 hours and 45 minutes for me. Now, plants need light for photosynthesis. They create the sugars that they need for growth. So of course we can feed them. We don't tend to do that at this time of the year because it makes them grow and that new growth can get nipped by the cold. So they're completely reliant on the food that they make themselves. And for that, they need leaves and they need sunlight. So if we pinch our Snapdragons, for example, we might take away 50% of their leaf foliage, and then that will cut down their photosynthesis by 50%. And if you pinch them too hard, it can actually kill them because they've got not enough leaf area for enough photosynthesis to keep them going through the winter months, and they will stop growing. As we head into deepest winter, this growth will not continue. They will stop growing entirely, just tick over until we get to around mid-February. The light levels will then, for me, go back to about 10 hours. They'll jump into growth, and at that point we can pinch our Snapdragons. Now, we're not going to pinch the mini butterfly Snapdragons, and we don't pinch all plants. These Snapdragons are cut flower Snapdragons, and they make a big, massive stem. So we want to divert that energy into 3 smaller stems. The mini butterfly are bred to branch naturally. So here we've got the colour mix, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. So you can see where we've now pinched the plants. Because this is a mix, so all the colours are different, it makes it really easy to spot them. So this is one plant here, so this is the ivory. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stems flowering, and then another 2 stems yet to flower. So what we'll do is we'll cut those, and that essentially is just like pinching all over again. I only cut the stem for as long as I actually need it, so I won't floor it. I'll probably cut it down to about here. And then what will happen is those stems will then branch and flower again. The flowers will never be quite as big as this, but you will have more of them, and that's a good thing as well. So you might be wondering, well, why bother pinching? Why not leave them? Well, this is one doorstep stem. So this one I've left, and it's not been pinched. So we're going to end up with one gigantic flower, which we'll then be able to cut back. That will then branch. But the problem is, by the time that then branches, then we cut those flowers, and then it flowers again. We're getting towards the end of the season, and the plants will be quite old, so the flowers won't be as good quality. You could get rust. So pinching is the best thing to do. So speaking of branching naturally, sweet peas, if started in the autumn and have a cool growing period, they will branch naturally, meaning you don't need to pinch them. If you pinch them, all you do is, just like the Snapdragons, you divert the plant's energy from making one nice big stem with long, strong flowers into the plant creating another stem, and then the plant will divert its energy into those 2 stems, making your flowers shorter. We've got natural branching already on these sweet peas, so we will get the longest possible stems from these plants. If you've had to pinch them because you had some leggy linders, don't worry too much. One pinch won't hurt. But if you continuously pinch your plant, you're just diverting and diluting the plant's growth over and over again, and then your first flowers won't be anything like the tall stems that you were hoping for. This is a good example. I just wanted to show you. So, first flowering stem, so first flowers, And these are coming off the side shoots, the second flowers, and you can see how much shorter that is already. I'll lay it on the floor for you in a second. There we go. So you can see it isn't a huge amount shorter, just a bit. But when they branch again, it will get that much shorter again. And then it will get that much shorter again. And then it will get that much shorter again. And that's when you need to start cutting tendrils to make your flowers long enough to even put in a jam jar. So hopefully that makes sense why you need to be careful with your pinching and start as early as possible so you get the most amount of long stems. And don't forget, just like the Snapdragons, the sweet peas also need their foliage, especially throughout the winter, for photosynthesis. So if you start removing it and pinching them, they don't have enough leaf area to grow into the strongest plants for going out in the garden next spring. Now, you might be thinking, oh, maybe I'll just do that, the tiniest little pinch, just a teeny tiny pinch off the end. Now, you do need to give your plants, when you are pinching for branching, you do need to give your plants quite a good pinch to remove the apical dominance. If you go to my website, there is actually a video on zinnias. So if you go to the zinnia page, there's a video on pinching zinnias, and I show you what happens if you are too gentle and too ginger and just take out the tip. What happens is the plant regrows, but because you didn't remove the apical dominance, you didn't take enough off, the side shoots didn't open up and it regrew with just one single stem. Whoopsie.